Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to create an iOS plugin to scan QR code or barcode for your Godot Game Engine. Now if you haven't watched my first video on how to create a simple iOS plugin, do watch that because I have explained each and every step in as much detail as I could. In this video I won't explain steps in detail. I will show you all the steps but I won't explain it in detail. So if you are curious, you can watch that video. So let's get started. So first what you will have to do is you will have to create an empty folder. I have created an empty folder, like a workspace kind of a folder. You can name it whatever you feel like. I have named it as my demo. Okay, inside that firstly iOS plugins can be created only on macOS, so you require a macOS. Then you will have to install Python, Xcode and sconce. So install sconce you would require homebrew. With the help of homebrew you can run this command to install this particular sconce. Xcode you can install from Apple App Store and Python from their original website. So you will have to create one folder. Inside that you can create a folder called plugin. So name this folder whatever you feel like. I have named it as my demo. Then inside that, this is important, so this should be named as plugin only, otherwise you will face a lot of issues. Then at the time of this recording I am using Godot 4.2. You can clone whatever, suppose if you are using Godot 4.3, then you will have to use Godot 4.3. so basically you will have to open your terminal, cd to the plugin folder which you have created, and then run this command. And here you will have to change your branch name to whatever you are using. So I'm using Godot 4.2. so I have already cloned it. So I have already have it over here. So I'll just copy paste this to my new plugin folder. Okay, now let it copy paste. So this will take a little bit of time. But you will have to clone it because you won't be having it at the very start, right? So you can just clone it from the Godot engine repository. Then once it is cloned, you will have to again go to your terminal and cd to the Godot folder, and you will have to run this command, this particular command. So for this we require this cons. Again, I am not really good at this, but it is basically help us to generate iOS headers for us. Now again I have already run this command, so just cd to your Godot folder once it is cloned and then run this command, and it will automatically generate iOS headers for you. This will take a little bit of time, so be patient. Once that is done, you will have to open Xcode and create a static library for you. The next thing which we have to do is open Xcode and then click on create new project. I have already done that. Then inside iOS you will have to select static library, then click on next. You will have to give some product name. I have given it as scanner. Give any name whatever you feel like. Language should be Objective-C. Swift is not directly supported. I would love to use Swift as well. Then you will have to select your team as well. I will just select my team and come back. Next, before saving it, you will have to go to your plugin folder which you have just created. Inside your my demo folder or whatever name you have given, you have to save it, your static library over there. So I'll just click on create and it will just create my static library for me. The next thing which you have to do is, so let's see the steps. So firstly we'll have to change the iOS deployment target. Now we will be using the Vision framework, and as far as I know it is supported from iOS 16 or 15 I guess. So I think I'll just keep it as iOS 16. That's fine for me. So by default the deployment target is very high, like whatever is the current iOS version, but I can change it. I can bring it down to 16. I think that's fine for my particular game or whatever app you are making. Then we'll have to create few files. So first is this header file. Now there is a lot of boilerplate code which we have to write. I have already created this module for my first video. I'll just copy paste the module, all those particular modules, like all those particular boilerplate code, and I'll just have to change the project name everywhere else. First we have to create, just right click, new file, header file, and here we have to name it as scanner underscore module. So I'll just create this particular file. I'll click create, then I'll just copy paste all the code which is present over here inside that particular file. But here I'll just have to rename all the arithmetic to scanner. just rename it over here, rename it over here, rename it over here, over here, as well as over here. Then we have to create an arithmetic module Objective C++ file. So currently we can't directly create an Objective C++, we have to create Objective C file first. So just select Objective C, name it as scanner underscore module. So I'll just change the name, scanner underscore module, and I'll just click on create. Then we have to click on this particular file name, change the extension to .mm manually, so it is converted to Objective C++. I'll just copy paste this code and I'll paste it over here. Then I just have to rename everywhere it has been written arithmetic to scanner. So I'll just copy paste this, I'll copy paste this, I'll copy paste this as well, over here as well. S is capital, here, here as well, S is capital, here as well, then over here, scanner over here as well, okay, over here and over here as well. Then we have to create an header file. We already have this particular header file. I'll just copy paste this code and I'll paste it over here. Everything you saw in these two particular files is just boilerplate code. Don't worry about it, it remains the same. You just have to change the file name. Now comes the interesting part. So firstly, in this particular file, all this code which you are seeing, so I'll just change this again to SCANNER. Okay, now here everything is capital. Okay, so be careful with this ER, and this is fine. So here we have to import UI kit, as well as we have to we will be creating the second view controller file. Now, as I told you previously, like we will launch a new view controller, because embedding in a current scene of, so suppose you have a scene, right, that would be your Godot screen. It is very difficult to embed in your current like in your current Godot screen a camera view to scan QR code or barcode. I know there is a camera iOS plugin already, but I went through that code and it is very difficult for me to understand. So what I am doing is that I am creating a new view controller. In case you don't know what a view controller is, it's basically like opening a new screen. So on button click, so I will create a button in my Godot game. On button click, I will launch our new view controller, and in that new controller we will occupy the entire screen by our camera, so the user won't feel like it is a new screen. Okay. Even though he feels like a new screen, it will feel like it has opened the camera, and mostly whenever you open the camera it occupies the entire screen, right? So yeah, now to use that we have to import UI kit. So to launch a new view controller we require UI kit, which is a default dependency inside iOS, and we will be creating this particular file. Next, I'll just change this file name to scanner, this to scanner, this to scanner. Here we will be creating a method called scan. Okay, and this will be scanner as well, this will be scanner, this will be scanner. Okay, everything looks good to me. Then again, we already had this particular file, which is an Objective C file. We have to convert it to Objective C++. So I change the extension to .mm. Again, I'll copy paste all this code and I'll just paste it over here. So again, this is a boilerplate code which you have to write. So this entire thing here we will just rename it as scanner. Okay, next we don't need this. Here we will name it as scanner as well. This will be scanner as well, this will be scanner, this will be scanner. Okay, we don't need this, we don't need one more initialization like logs, we don't need all this nonsense. Here this will be scanner, this will be scanner, and here if you want you can write, this is a log statement, so it's fine. So scanner over here as well, and this as well. So here now this thing which you see, scan result, is a signal. So once we scan something, we need to send the data back to Godot side, right? So I have registered one signal. The data type would be string. I don't know what this result is exactly. Okay, so given that the default template which I was following had result, so I'm keeping it as result. Now this scan is the method name which we have defined over here. So same, you will have to use it over here as well as over here. Then I'll just remove this as well. Okay, and I think this should be scanner. Next, this should be scanner. So here what basically we are doing is that we are getting hold of the view controller. So we are so that's what this code is. We are getting, so to launch another view controller we require our root view controller. Currently actually getting hold of view controller in native iOS is very easy, but this scanner is not exactly a view controller. So we have to get hold of the root view controller which Godot creates for us. Okay, and here we have so I'll be creating this second view controller in a bit, but basically we are initializing this second view controller, making it full screen, and this is a completion handler. So as soon as we scan a QR code, I'm immediately dismissing our second view controller, and we come over here inside the completion handler, we send the signal to our Godot side and display it over there. And here we are presenting our second view controller. Okay, and here we are just breaking our loop once we have that particular QR code. All right, we don't need all this nonsense. Okay, let me now just check if I have forgot arithmetic somewhere. Arithmetic, okay, I don't think so. I have replaced it everywhere. Next we require this particular file, so I'll just create, you can name this whatever you feel like, but make sure you again then you will have to change it over here as well. So I think for now you can just follow what I am doing. Later on, once you understand the entire flow, you can change it to whatever you feel like. So create a header file. Again we'll just copy paste this code. I'll explain the code to you. So here we are importing UI kit, which is again required for camera and AV foundation as well, and this is the vision framework which will help us to scan QR code and barcode. This is the completion handler which we are referencing inside our scanner.mm file. Then we are extending this delegate, okay, inside our view controller, and I have created 3 variables, one completion handler, one capture session for AV capture session, and one for preview layer. Then we will have to create a Objective-C file. So I have converted this to Objective-C++ as well. I think even if we keep it as Objective-C, that's fine, but anyways I have just for similarity sake, everything is Objective-C++. That's why I have created this as Objective-C++. Again change the extension to .mm, just copy paste this code and I'll explain it to you. Okay, so firstly, like, we are importing our header file. This is mandatory code for a view controller, and this is the implementation. Here we are creating a barcode request, and this view did load gets called as soon as our second view controller is presented. So this code is immediately called. We are creating an AV capture session, then we are creating a capture device, one variable for whether there is any error or not, and this is our input. Now if input is not equal to empty, then we just add our input to our capture session. Then we create an output. Again, now here I am not really sure what is happening. This dispatch main queue is, I think it is on main thread, something like that. And here we are capturing session, passing the output. This is the important point. So this is, here we are creating our barcode request. Again, we don't need this. So we are creating our barcode request. If there is any error, I am printing it to the console and returning it. But if you want, you can dismiss your view controller over here as well, I think. And just like I'm adding a completion handler, you may want to add some different completion handler if you want to. Okay, but I'm not handling that case. I'll leave that up to you. Then once we get the results, we just loop over it and we just check if it is equal to this VN barcode symbology QR or this is barcode. So here I have defined all the barcodes or QR codes which I want to identify. Okay, so if it is one of this, then we just stop running our camera. I'm just printing it just for my debugging purposes. Stop running our camera, remove our preview layer, send that so this is where our QR code or barcode value will be detected, sending it back to our scanner.mm file, and then dismissing this view controller so that you come back to the original screen. And here we are just creating our preview layer, making sure it occupies the entire width and height, and adding it as a sub layer to our view.layer. And here we are starting our camera. So this is just to check all the different barcodes which we have, and this gets called, so basically whenever a barcode is captured, and which inherently calls this particular thing. Okay, so yeah, that's it on the second view controller as well. Next, what you will have to do, if you remember, we had ran this particular command, this particular command, so it generates the iOS headers for us, right? Next you will have to go to your Godot folder, go to bin, go to platform iOS, and you will have to copy this path. So just copy this particular path, and then you will have to come over here, go to build settings, search for header search path, and here you will have to just paste that particular path. So as you can see, I have just clicked on this plus button and I have pasted the path. It should be up to platform/iOS, okay, including iOS. I'll click on enter, then I'll just paste it out. Just click on the outside and it will just enter your header search path. Alright, let's see our documentation again. What is the next step? So we are done with this, okay, then we'll have to close Xcode completely. I'll just click on quit so that my Xcode has been switched closed completely. Then I'll come back over here, go to scanner. Okay, you have to click on this Xcode project, don't double click on it. You have to move this outside, so something like this. Again, I don't know why, but this is the template which we have to follow. And click on this scanner, we'll select all this file, and we will again move it one directory before, so we will get this empty scanner folder which we will just delete it. Again, I don't know why we have to do this, but now if you double click on Xcode project, your Xcode project would be fine, you won't face any issue. Then okay, we have to create this file called arithmetic.gdip. so I have already have this file. What I'll do is that I'll just copy paste that file. So this is from my first video, and then you will have to, so in your case, just create a file called arithmetic, sorry, it should not be arithmetic, it should be scanner.gdip. Alright, and I'll show you the contents. You will have to create it inside again the plugin folder. So I'll just show you the content. So this is how it looks like. So this should be scanner, this should be scanner, okay, and here it should be scanner as well, SCANNER, and this is scanner as well. Okay, I'll just extend this. Okay, and inside dependency for system we have imported 3 dependency, if you remember, UIKit, AV Foundation as well as Vision. So you have to write all this over here as well. And inside plist, so the camera permission is a sensitive permission, so we basically, in typical native iOS, we have to write that permission inside plist. So here that's what we are doing over here, NS camera usage description permission. Here this message you can change to whatever you feel like. So yeah, this is done. So I have copy pasted it, so this is done. Okay, then I have created one sc construct file which we will be creating now. So if you want, you can just go to this particular URL if you want to, because that file is actually quite big. So I have already created that file for my previous video. I'll just copy it and paste it inside our plugin folder. I'll show you the contents again. You please go to that particular URL which I just shown you. So I'll just move this, I'll remove all of this, close all. Okay, so you can go to this folder to get the actual this sc construct file, but you will have to make few changes. Firstly, we'll have to just search for arithmetic. We don't require that, we require scanner. Okay, here also scanner, this is scanner, this is scanner. Okay, there is no more arithmetic. One more thing which I want to tell you is, if you remember, we had changed the minimum deployment target to 16, right? Here also change it to 16. So this is 16, this is 16, this is 16, and this is also 16. So whatever you have set it to your static library, change it over here as well. Otherwise, once we generate a static library command, then you might face some issue. That's why keep it same. So we are done with this, created the s construct file. Okay, then we have to create a bin folder. So go to plugin again, and here I'll just create a bin folder. Okay, my demo, all right, bin folder. Then we have to run this particular command, but instead of arithmetic we will have to write scanner. Again we have to run this inside our plugin folder. So I'll go to my terminal, I'll again go to my plugin folder, and I'll just run this command, but instead of arithmetic I will make it as scanner. I will run this. Now what it will do is, if everything is okay, inside your bin folder you should get a .a like a static library bin created. So here you can see that file was created for me. Alright, the next thing is we have to create a Godot project. So I will quickly create a Godot project and get back to you. So I have created my Godot project. Now you can create your Godot project wherever you feel like. It should not be inside plugins folder. So I have just created it outside the plugins folder. Again, you can feel free to create wherever you want, wherever you like. So I will just create a 2D scene. I'll click over here, I'll create one button which will help us to open the scanner. Okay, I'll just make it a little bigger. Okay, I'll just paste it over here, and I'll create one more label. So I'll just select that particular label, and I'll make it a little bigger, paste it over here. So I'll give it some name like click me, and here I will just update the font size for both of this. So theme override font size, I'll just make it as 30. I'll quickly save it. One important thing which I want to tell you is, just run your application for now, so that it will help you to select the current scene. Otherwise, if you don't select your current scene and just try to run it to your iOS device, then you might face some issue. Then here just attach one script to it, name it whatever you feel like, and again I'll just copy paste some code. So firstly I require this particular label, right? So I'm getting hold of this label which I already have. Then we will create a variable for our scanner. So we are basically first creating a singleton of our library. I'll expand this for now. Okay, sorry, before that I'll go to my button, go to node, click on pressed, so that I have that particular signal, and from that here I can just copy paste this, but instead of arithmetic I want this scanner. Then okay, I'll just copy paste this code, I'll paste it over here, and here we are just checking if our engine has a plugin called scanner. Then get that particular scanner. Okay, this is scanner and this is scanner, and the we were sending a signal called scan result, if you remember, from the iOS static library. So I'm registering that signal, and to get that particular output we will have to create a method called scan result as well. So I'll just go back over here, and here you will get the output. So I'll just paste it over here, and instead of label 3, this is my label. Okay, and I'll just make this as output is. Okay, and here you will get your actual barcode which has been scanned. Okay, what is, okay, this should be scanner as well. Next thing which you have to do is, let's go back to our, so I have already shown you this. Okay, sorry, this one. Then we will have to create a folder called iOS. So go to your Godot project. Here I will create a folder called iOS. Inside that you will have to create a folder called plugins with an S. So I'll create a folder called plugins. So firstly we will have to copy the .gdip file as well as the .a file from our main plugin folder. So I'll go over here, I'll copy the .gdip, go to my Godot game, go to iOS plugins, I'll paste it over here. Then again go back to your main plugin folder, go to bin, copy the .a file, go to your Godot game again, go to iOS, go to plugins, paste it over here, and I'll have to change the name to scanner.a. Done. Then again go to your Godot project, go to project, export, click on add iOS. Here click on fix import. You will have to add your app store team ID. I won't show you mine. Add some bundle identifier. Mostly it is your company name, but I'll just add it as my awesome game Godot. And here you can see inside plugins I'm able to see my scanner plugin. I'll just click that. I'll quickly enter my app store team ID. So if you want to know from where do I get the app store team ID, you can just go to this particular URL, which will help you to fetch your app store team ID. It will give you all the instructions which you need. Once you have entered your app store team ID, all you have to do is click on export project. Okay, I think that's the last step, right? Yeah, export project. And here I have created again a separate folder for this. So the folder name is, okay, my demo. So I have created one separate folder called my iOS project. You can again create this folder anywhere you like. Now here you might be thinking there will be only one file, but no, it will create an Xcode project for you. So I'll just click on save, and the export will take a little bit of time, so be patient. So my export is done, so you should see something like this. And if I go to my folder, here you can see my Xcode project is been created from after exporting. You just have to click on this, double click on this Xcode proj file, and it will automatically open your project inside Xcode. Once your project is open, you should go to your select this target, and inside sign in and capabilities, if your team is not selected, make sure you select your team. Even after selecting your team, I don't want to show you my team, that's why I'm not selecting now, but I will select my team before running my application. Also, if you're after selecting a team, if you're still facing some issue like this red error, just uncheck this automatic manage signing and check it again. That should resolve your issue. So yeah, I'll just select my team and run my application and come back. So as you can see, it is launching my application. Also, before running, one more thing, if you want, you can go to the general tab, and if you want, you can change the minimum deployment target to 16 as well, because that's what we set for our static library. Now coming back to our app, so I'll just show you. Here I'm mirroring my device. If I click on click me button, it first asks me for camera permission. I'll click on allow, and I'll just open this one QR code and one barcode as well. So as you saw, it was it's very difficult for me to mirror my device as well as show you the barcode. sorry QR code. So but as you can see, it successfully scanned, and it was able to show you. Now I will scan a barcode as well. So I have clicked on the click me button again. So as you can see, it immediately scanned my barcode and it displayed me the output as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.